Hey everyone, it's Movie Lover 120 here with the third and final video of the day. And this video is going to be for another movie review for a film that just came out in this year and recently just came out, not in theaters unfortunately. Actually ended up getting dumped again to streaming. And this review is going to be for none other than Pixar's Luca. For those of you that obviously know, Luca is a new Pixar movie that's directed by Enrico Casarosa. It has a running time of 95 minutes. So it's basically, this is one of the shortest Pixar films ever. So when I saw the trailers for this film, I thought, okay, this just looks fine. Really, doesn't look all that special. So that's all I thought. So I just finished streaming the movie today, and I gotta say, and I loved it for what it was. I mean, it was a fun film nonetheless. I think it was actually the second best animated movie this year, but in terms of Pixar quality, it didn't really feel too much Pixar-like compared to some of their other stuff. Especially compared to the company's last film, Soul, which came out last year. But it was still a pretty good film nonetheless, and it's still a beautifully animated movie with a lot of influence either from Ghibli Studios and from Italian folklore. So yeah, I still very much enjoy this piece of art. Definitely not a masterpiece. It's definitely not on top with other Pixar movies, but it was really great and entertaining. What else can I think of? And for those of you that probably don't know, the director actually did make this Pixar short film they called La Luna that was shown before Brave about a decade ago. And this film is actually loosely based off of the director's childhood in Genoa, Italy, which, especially considering this is set in the Italian Riviera sometime between the 50s and 60s, and while its initial plans for release in theaters might not have gone as planned, which is kind of sucks because, well, they should have just stuck with releases in theaters since they probably didn't think the world would be theaters would be reopening at the time. I get that, but now they're probably going to be Pixar's going to be shooting themselves in the foot because theaters around the world are now reopening, and kind of wish they just had the patience and just stuck with their plan. Really, instead of dumping us to streaming. I mean, yeah, the pandemic is still around, but the theaters are reopening now, and more people are actually going there again, unlike last year when they did reopen and hardly nobody went. However, it has gotten a lot of traction on Disney Plus and within the film and animation circle. As of now, it's now basically being viewed as just another solid entry in Pixar's catalog, but let's see how. Also, what is the plot of the movie? Well, the film focuses on this young sea monster boy named Luca Bergero who has the ability to assume human form on land, along with a new best friend named Alberto Scorfano. Luca experiences a life-changing summer in the town of Porto Rosso. Now, even though that premise sounds like a literal fish out of water storyline, which it kind of really is, what does make Luca at least somewhat distinctive from others like it is the metaphorical aspect. Around regional Italy, sea monsters are mythical creatures of ancient folklore, and the film makes good usage of this by making Luca and Alberto different from the people of Porto Rosso. In fact, their old friendship goes from the usual shy kind of troublemaker duo into a much more genuine and emotional relationship based on what they want to become. Alongside the Luca's Italian seaside, it's an unforgettable summer adventure itself that further developed Luca and Alberto as maturing youth. It might be hard to overcome these certain obstacles when you're trying to pose as something you're not to others, but it makes all the difference when you're doing it with close friends, really. Along the start of their lives, Luca and Alberto are also not without plenty of friends and foes. While they do face some enemies such as the egotistical blowhard champion of Porto Rosso, Ercole Visconti, who I'm going to get to in a bit, guys, they do make a genuine connection with the outgoing adventurous bookworm, Lulia Marco Vado, which I think find her a pretty fascinating character because of her skepticism towards sea monsters, partially from her fisherman father, Massimo, and yet her overly abundant enthusiasm makes her a delightful companion to Luca and Alberto, even if they don't share the same views. And of course, for other characters, you have Luca's overbearing sea monster parents who are determined to keep their son unsafe without understanding what's best for him. I can't really say much about them. They're kind of just really overprotective parents, and that's really about it. There's nothing really special about them. But, however, while their scenes could have been a bit tiresome, the film only showcases them from time to time, and they do get some of the better laughs throughout the feature, even if they're not really memorable characters. Really, in many ways, the nostalgia for a child is heavily present in this case because several kids who clearly experienced multiple people throughout their youth, Luca and Burrow come out stronger with these different personas, and there's kind of another bad quality I have with Galia Marcovado, the villain of the story. He's kind of just your generic bully cliche, really, just a generic jock who hates the outcasts, is often liked by the whole town. It's just like that, really, just like in every kids movie. He's just kind of typical jock. However, there is something a little different about this film, something Disney has not done in like decades and ages. He's actually a straight up villain the whole way through. He's not some twist villain or anything. He's an actual villain whole movie through. For once, a villain that is not a twist. Thank God. Because that cliche with Disney is getting very annoying. Like, over the several years, ever since their garbageous movie Frozen, they've been doing nothing but twist villains. Like, it used to be fine, but now Disney keeps doing it every single movie they make, and it got annoying quick. So I'm glad they finally did not do that stupid twist villain cliche. For once. Because it was really started to get annoying. As usual for Pixar, the art direction animation is nothing sort of gorgeous, but in this case they managed to elevate the old look of the Italian Riviera through strong architecture, near-painterly colors, and adorable character designs. Given that the crews finally spent a lot of time researching landscapes and locals of the Italian Riviera, they managed to capture the right amount of detail and texture common amount around a seemingly perfect yet lovely seaside town. These set pieces are often utilized in these best in some chase and biking sequences with some appropriate lighting and shadows to emphasize the intensity of the sequence. The character designs, well, as for those, they look like old Italian cartoon and characters brought to life in computer-generated imagery with some smooth motion and sincere acting emphasizing their appeal to that much further. The underwater scenes are also a nice added bonus for even though the overly complicated process of generating water in a computer might not be a concern for audiences that much now. The movie does its job very well. Well, that doesn't really need to be a concern to audiences. Now, and of course, there's always the emotional bits. I didn't really cry at the emotional bits. I didn't really think they were very tearjerker worthy. I mean, yeah, there were still some emotional bits like every Pixar movie, but I've seen much more emotional Pixar moments. I mean, see way more tear-jerking Pixar moments. These ones didn't really have much tear-jerker moments, really, but there was like a lump in my throat during some emotional scenes of the film, but it's not really. I think it's one of their least tear-jerker films. I think it's one of their more. I think Luca's probably one of their more happier films they've done. But yeah, it's one of the more enjoyable Pixar movies. But I guess it's just a matter of personal taste in the end. With enough heart and charm to win over as many people as possible, I think Luca, the film, is one of the most humble depictions of friendship in a feature-length film in such a while, live-action or animated. Given how deep the idea of staying true to your friends no matter how much you grow up is, there's a good chance future generations will gain that sense of mortality from this wonderful feature altogether. If you're a fan of in the end, if you're a fan of Pixar, like I am, or looking for a delightful taste in Italian authenticity, why don't you give this movie a shot? Right, no matter how lower-scaled or infectious it could be, it's well worth giving the attention it could use, especially considering this movie got dumped to streaming. But it's definitely not one of Pixar's big masterpieces. I think it's one of their more enjoyable, and that's it. But if you're a Pixar fan, I'd still recommend it. I mean, you can recommend streaming it, and here's how I'm probably going to rank it. I am going to give Luca an 8.5 out of 10. And with that pretty much wraps up my review for Luca. So, now that we all know the theaters are reopened in my area, you can all get what the next movie review is going to be next week. Yes, my next movie review will be for a movie I'm going to be watching in theaters. Yeah, and that movie review is going to be for none other than a film that was also supposed to come out last year but got delayed, of course, by the coronavirus pandemic. Fast 9. And then I think you can all guess what's going to be after Fast 9. It will be next, after Fast 9 is going to be Black Widow, which I should probably mention you guys about. Black Widow is actually coming out the same week as, believe it or not, the same week I am going to be getting my second and final COVID vaccine dose. Perfect timing. Although, hopefully my side effects only last a day, or hopefully I don't get any side effects, but because if I do, it's probably going to have to be, that review is probably going to have to be a day or two late, but, and then after Black Widow will be Space Jam: A New Legacy, which I'm still having worried doubts about, but I really hope I'm proven wrong, because their 3D designs are still giving me worried doubts. I prefer their 2D designs. Their 3D designs are the Looney Tunes 3D designs are kind of cringy to me, so I really hope it can prove me wrong, but all in all, that'll be the first review. Thank y'all for watching, and if you like this and want to see more, then don't forget to like and subscribe to Movie Lover 120.